a scion of many worlds. Did you seriously shove the laser pistols into your belt? Jasper asks, after a few moments of walking into the wide but dark cave. He's providing the light with a literal ball of pure energy in his left claw. Is that bad? Beryl asks. A specialized holster is best. At least tell me that you have the safeties on. He asks, and she looks confused. Oh boy, carefully draw the weapons. They're likely in a state where they could go off at any moment and put a burning hole clean through your crotch. She very slowly brings out the pistols and he crouches down to examine them before pointing to a tiny lever above the trigger. See that small lever? That's the safety on a laser pistol. Turn it on, and it won't fire unless it's turned off. Okay, she says, and she quickly flicks the safeties on. He nods at this. He gestures with his hand and she points the lasers away to the rock and visibly pulls the triggers. They don't fire. She then flicks off the safeties and the beams of light burn out. Another pair of flicks and she's carefully stowing away the weapons in a belt pouch. All right, first rule of weapons like pistols, rifles, or cannons. Treat it like it's always ready to fire. Unless you know for certain otherwise, the weapon is extremely dangerous. These things can kill in one shot, so you need to respect them for the very dangerous tools that they are. He explains and she nods. So they're like a cannon that needs something other than a lot of work to set off. In essence, yes. Never point them at anything you're not ready to see dead or destroyed. Jasper confirms, and her next nod is very sober. Excellent. Let's continue. The cave widens and widens as they journey further in. The walls start to catch the light and shimmer. A quick check reveals it to be quartz. The area is completely clear of stalactites and stalagmites, despite the slight depressions and buildups that show that they should be developing. Someone's been clearing them out, albeit without tool marks. This cave is far too smooth. Beryl reaches the same conclusion as Jasper just a few moments after. Yes, I noticed. Their humidity and dripping would have formed stalactite and stalagmite, but they're not here. Also missing are tool markings. Meaning Axiom was used to do so, likely an Earth Eremita, or someone who studied under one. Everyone seems to forget that Eremita are merely talented at manipulating the elements, not the exclusive practitioners. Are you just addicted to big words? Addicted? Oh, shut up. It wasn't that big. She grumps back with a smile and he chuckles. But you're right. When you think elements, you think Eremita. That Foza could do this. You could do this. With some help, I could do this. Exactly. Jasper confirms before regarding the ball of light in his claws. He charges it with more energy and casts it into the cave ahead of them. The cavern it illuminates is enormous and precision cut but worn down. Dead center is the prize, shaped like an angular heart with the tips sliced off. The shuttle rests on protrusions of the hull going down and gleams in the light. Is that? Yes, that's it exactly. Let's find the door. It's enormous. I thought it was like a rowboat or a canoe, not something the size of an entire galley ship. Compared to what it was attached to, it is. In fact, if it was with a colony ship, it's even smaller by comparison. More like a piece of wood to be thrown after those that fall overboard. But that would mean that the nest was the size of a city, yes, perhaps larger than any city on Lacron. A colony ship is an enormous vessel, more a mobile mountain in size. Then where is it? I don't know. It's one of the things that are bothering me. I've found the melted remains of buildings, I've found shuttles, and everything points to the idea that there should be pieces of the nest somewhere, but no one knows where. I suspect that the largest pieces are in the ocean and the smaller ones are buried or have been taken apart for salvage. That would make sense. Deep underwater would be the only place you could hide something that big. Hydro Nagasha and Jorga don't often swim deep. Too cold? Too dark. She corrects him and he nods. Sensible. He notes as they stop a solid 10 meters away from the shuttle to take in the size. Beryl gives out a little wow of awe at the sight of it. All right, let's get inside and see if we can't fly it out. How does something like this fly? She asks, and he chuckles. The two back pieces have a pair of gravity engines, so it controls how it falls and which way it falls, also how fast it falls. So it doesn't fly, it just falls up. Yes, but so precisely that you would have a hard time matching its grace. That's strange. Well, falling's not the right word, but as much as I'd like to, I don't have time to explain all the little strange bits about gravity and what happens when you really start moving. So falling is the best I can explain it without taking a few weeks to try and fully explain. Do you do that often? Are the Blues just teachers and explainers? No, actually, it's something I do and only I do among the Blues. Except your brother who your mind was copied from. No, not him either. This is something I do by reflex, but I don't know why. Jasper remarks with a frown before snorting. I should talk with people more often. I'm learning a lot. From what I hear, you speak plenty. Beryl remarks as she gets over her wonder and slithers up to the ship. So where's the entrance? This is a vessel, right? I doubt we ride on top. A moment, please, Jasper says as he fiddles with his communicator. It links up easily and he inputs a few commands. Thankfully, things go through smoothly and the side of the vessel opens wide. Wow, Beryl says as the ramp lowers and she rushes in. Hands on your belt. Unless you know what it is, don't touch it, Jasper calls after her as he steps up onto the ramp and finds her with her hand over a wall panel. All right, lesson time. This is a basic access panel. It's safe. Just make sure to properly read what it tells you you're doing. It's not a game unless, of course, you tell it to play a game, then it's a game. So what's it do? Technically, it can control the whole ship. However, it's more a backup access. It's also a way to look around in the ship and is mostly used to do quick checks, like this. He says as he types in a couple commands and finds a layout of the ship. It claims to be in perfect repair. Twice now these ships are in perfect shape. This is weird. Probably preservation marks, she says, and Jasper gives her an odd look and she pulls out her sword to show an unusual marking that has a strange effect on the axiom. It's not a powerful effect though, and it's very in tune with the background sensation. Here, it's a bit of knowledge we kept. Is this restoring your sword? Jasper asks, remembering seeing these kinds of markings on the underside of things. A surreptitious way to fix things. One that was omnipresent, it seems. He never thought about it before. A mistake, it seems. And the outer parts restore the symbol. This sword is 200 years old. I've never needed to so much as sharpen it. Oh shit. I paid the mountain clans in weapons, but I didn't put on the symbols. I doubt they'll care. They have a reputation for breaking and remaking weapons. I at least owe them an apology, Jasper asserts as he regards the symbol and places his hands on the hilts of his swords. He shifts them so that just beyond the guard is that symbol in the metal. He can feel things improve almost right away. Okay, so a combination of robust building methods and restoration runes would make these things all but immune to the march of time. My own questions are falling to the wayside. Come on, let's find the main controls and see what this beast can do. Right, you can fly these things, she says in wonder. It's not that hard, you just have to learn how to pay attention to many little details. It can look overwhelming at first though. Once you know what to do and get used to it, then you may even find it relaxing. My brother has several friends who love piloting and driving. Beryl gives him an odd look. She caught the slip and rears up to pat him on the shoulder. He nods in appreciation before gesturing for her to follow him to the bridge. What is that? She asks, pointing to the circular structure on the floor. There's clear machinery around it. Pilot couch. Go get comfortable on it. It'll adjust to you. Pilot couch. Do you intend for me to fly this thing? Why not? I said it was fairly simple, so I'm going to prove it by showing you how. It's probably best that the midwives get this shuttle anyways. Sure, your order has made some mistakes, but your intentions are good and you have the will to do the right thing, Jasper says, and she eagerly slithers into the couch. Now, poke the red design. She does, and then nearly leaps out when the entire piloting couch shifts and then gently presses on her. She then watches with wide eyes as hard light controls appear in front of her. These are the main controls. If something goes wrong, there are secondary controls there and there, not to mention in a pinch almost any control panel can serve. Okay, now, what am I looking at? Right now it's on standby mode. The ship is letting you know its status. Press that bit there. Jasper instructs and she pokes the portion. They both glance backwards as they feel the engines activate. Good. Now use that bit there to bring this status screen lower and... They found it, Lady Allure mutters as the enormous structure of pure metal molded by ancient knowledge swoops through the air and slowly comes to a stop just outside the temple. It turns in mid-air, as if simple physics means nothing to it, and then touches down. A doorway in the side opens and a ramp descends. Jasper leaves first before being followed by Beryl. The girl may not have the discipline to be a full paladin, but she's still a skilled knight. Oh, that was so much fun. Thank you so much for teaching me. Beryl gushes, and all four of Lady Allure's eyes widen at the implication that it was in fact Beryl who had flown the shuttle. She swoops down to greet them. A complete success, I see. Did I hear things correctly? Did you control that thing, Beryl? She's a natural pilot. Jasper compliments the knight, and Beryl beams with pleasure. I was thinking that the Grand Midwives could use this shuttle the most. It has no weapons, but its cargo bays are fairly large and could be used to get people and supplies to where they're needed most. Not to mention it could very easily be used for evacuation, say, of an island chain that just turned insanely hostile. Yes, this would be faster than moving by ship or carrying everyone out in an instant. Are you certain you can just give this away? No weapons, it's just a really big and really fast wagon as far as I'm concerned. We need to get the injured and innocent out of here sometime yesterday. I can't think of a better way. Can you? Jasper asks, and she huffs in amusement as she looks over the vessel. I can't. Short of you somehow having another of those portal pillars ready, this is our absolutely best option. Even if they were ready now, it would take me a while to fly there and back. With this, we can get everyone out in 1 or 2 trips with no need to post guards for extended periods of time. I see. By the by, that woman I brought in, the one I addled, I'm a warrior, not a healer, I don't know. Speak to the sisters within and they will tell you freely. You've done a tremendous amount for us already. If anyone had any doubts about you being our ally, then tonight has wiped them clean. You doubted me? Even after all we've done together? Jasper asks in a teasing tone. She has a face guard on, so it doesn't matter that she blushes. But his smile widens and she can just tell he somehow sensed it with his antenna. I wanted to see if you were as the legend said and if you would be able to give me some kind of, keep your dignity. I'm heading off. Jasper assures her and takes a step past with a smile. They are stealing our sacred vessel. Kill the thieving whores. Someone screams out from beyond the shuttle and Beryl turns as she draws her sword even as Lady Allure's face hardens. Never mind. Time to fight. Jasper says, having turned on his heel and slowly breaking into a sprint towards the oncoming enemy.